Across the vast tapestry of American history, battlefields have scarred the landscape, each a stark reminder of the nation's tumultuous past. While many know of Gettysburg and Bunker Hill, numerous lesser-known battles have unfolded on this very soil, their stories steeped in bloodshed and bravery. Today, we uncover 5 gruesome battles fought on U.S. soil. Conflicts that, though not always highlighted in the mainstream narrative, played crucial roles in shaping the destiny of the nation. From the thunderous cannonades over Lake Erie, to the fierce clashes in the deserts of New Mexico at Glorieta Pass, these battles epitomize the raw, unfiltered face of war. Join us as we journey back to these historic confrontations, exploring the brutal engagements that have forever marked the American homeland. On September 10, 1813, during the War of 1812, a pivotal naval confrontation unfolded on the waters of Lake Erie near Ohio. The clash of ships was a crucial turning point in the struggle for control over the Great Lakes. Commanded by Master Commandant Oliver Hazard Perry, the American fleet faced off against the British Royal Navy, led by Commander Robert Harriet Barclay. The Americans, though less experienced, were determined to break Britain's control of the lake, crucial for the supply and movement of troops in the region. The battle commenced in the early morning, with both sides trading ferocious cannonades. Despite initial disadvantages, including the serious damage to Perry's flagship, the USS Lawrence, the Americans demonstrated remarkable resilience. Perry, famously vowing "Don't give up the ship," transferred his command to the USS Niagara mid-battle and continued the fight. The tactical repositioning and relentless fire from the American ships ultimately overwhelmed the British fleet. The victory was decisive, with Perry declaring, "We have met the enemy and they are ours." This marked a significant morale boost for the United States, ensuring control of Lake Erie for the remainder of the war. The Battle of Lake Erie was seminal for its immediate impact on the War of 1812. It enabled the American forces to recover Detroit and bolstered efforts to invade Canada later in the war. The casualties numbered around 27 dead and 96 wounded on the American side, while the British suffered approximately 41 dead and 94 wounded, with many more captured. This victory was a symbol of burgeoning American naval capability and resolve, echoing through history as a testament to strategic bravery and the fierce will to dominate one's own destiny on the tumultuous waters of war. On February 20, 1864, the dense pine forests near Olustee, Florida, became the unlikely stage for the largest Civil War battle fought in the state. Under the command of General Truman Seymour, Union forces sought to disrupt vital Confederate supply routes and recruit former slaves into the Union Army. They faced a determined Confederate defense led by General Joseph Finnegan, who was resolved to halt the Union advance into Florida. As the Union troops marched through the sandy, swamp-bordered terrain, they were met by a well-prepared Confederate force near Olustee. The battle was fiercely contested, characterized by intense, close-range musket fire and prolonged artillery duels. The Union forces, initially pushing back the Confederates, soon found themselves in a dire situation as their lines began to falter under relentless pressure. The lack of experienced infantry, diminished cavalry support, and lesser knowledge of the natural land proved detrimental to Seymour's forces, who suffered severe casualties. The conflict culminated in a devastating defeat for the Union, forcing them to retreat hastily back to their fortifications at Jacksonville. The Confederate victory at Olustee was significant, as it effectively ended major Union campaigns in Florida for the remainder of the war. Casualties were alarmingly high, especially for the Union, which lost about 1,861 men, killed, wounded, or missing, nearly 40% of their engaged forces. Confederate losses totaled around 946, which, while lower, were still substantial. This battle underscored the harsh realities of war, with the fields of Olustee left strewn with the aftermath of the fierce combat. To this day, it remains a poignant example of the ferocity and bloodshed that characterized the Civil War. The Battle of Glorieta Pass, often referred to as the Gettysburg of the West, took place from March 26 to 28, 1862, in the rugged terrain of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains of New Mexico. This pivotal engagement during the American Civil War was crucial in determining the outcome of the Confederate expansion westward. Commanded by Colonel John P. Slough of the Union and Brigadier General Henry H. Sibley of the Confederacy, the forces clashed in what would become a defining moment in the war's Western theater. The Confederates aimed to cut off Union access to the Western territories, hoping to claim the rich gold mines of Colorado and California for the South. As the battle unfolded, Union forces executed a strategic maneuver that would ultimately decide the conflict's outcome. While the main units engaged in direct combat, a detachment of Union soldiers, led by Major John M. Chivington, moved behind Confederate lines to attack their supply train at Johnson's Ranch. This bold action resulted in the destruction of the Confederate supply line, including their wagons and supplies, crucially crippling Sibley's ability to sustain his force in hostile territory. The Confederates, now severely hampered by lack of supplies and facing logistical nightmares, were forced to retreat, marking the end of their campaign in the New Mexico territory. The Battle of Glorieta Pass was relatively small in scale, but immense in its strategic implications. The Union's victory here effectively halted the Confederate threat in the West and maintained crucial Union control over the western states. The Battle of Pea Ridge, also known as the Battle of Elkhorn Tavern, took place from March 6th to 8th, 1862, in the northwest Arkansas region. This significant battle marked one of the largest engagements of the Civil War fought west of the Mississippi River and played a pivotal role in securing Missouri for the Union. Led by Major General Samuel R. Curtis, the Union forces faced a Confederate army under the command of Major General Earl Van Dorn. The battle began with a bold Confederate plan to attack the Union from the rear, forcing Curtis to fight defensively. Over the course of 3 days, the battle saw intense and brutal fighting, with both sides enduring heavy casualties and dramatic shifts in momentum. Curtis's Union forces, well-positioned and resolute despite being outnumbered, managed to withstand the initial Confederate assault. Utilizing superior artillery and disciplined infantry formations, they repelled the Confederate attacks, turning the tide as Confederate coordination faltered. The decisive moment came when Union artillery stationed on the high ground dominated the battlefield, breaking the Confederate resolve and forcing their retreat. This victory at Pea Ridge effectively ensured Union control over Missouri and greatly diminished Confederate presence in the region. The battle resulted in approximately 1,200 Union and 2,000 Confederate casualties, highlighting the fierce and costly nature of the engagement. The Battle of Ox Hill, also known as the Battle of Chantilly, occurred on September 1, 1862, in Fairfax County, Virginia, just after the Second Battle of Bull Run. This confrontation was among the less discussed but most strategically significant battles of the American Civil War, marked by its fierce combat during a severe thunderstorm. Under the command of Major General Philip Kearny and Major General Isaac Stevens, Union forces engaged a Confederate contingent led by Generals Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson and A.P. Hill. The battle was a desperate attempt by the Union to halt the advancing Confederate forces following their recent victory at Bull Run. The fighting at Ox Hill was chaotic and brutal, exacerbated by the torrential rain and the mud-slicked fields. Visibility was poor, and the conditions were disorienting, leading to close-quarter combat and confusion among the troops. Despite their exhaustion and the elements, both Kearny and Stevens led from the front, rallying their men in the face of overwhelming Confederate counterattacks. Tragically, this battle would claim the lives of both Union generals, their leadership and bravery highlighting the intense and personal nature of the fight. The battle concluded with neither side achieving a decisive victory, but the Union forces were able to conduct an orderly retreat, preventing further Confederate gains. This skirmish had significant implications, stalling the Confederate momentum and allowing Union forces to regroup and fortify their positions around Washington, D.C. As we reflect on these fierce and brutal engagements fought on U.S. soil, it's evident that the landscape of America is not just formed by nature, but also by the battles that have shaped its history. From the thunderous cannons over Lake Erie to the storm-swept fields of Ox Hill, each battle we explored today offers a unique glimpse into the struggles that define the nation. These conflicts remind us of the sacrifices made by countless soldiers who fought not in distant lands but right here, on the ground they called home. As we move forward, let us carry with us the lessons learned from these gruesome battles, of strategy, sacrifice, and the ongoing quest for peace on our own soil. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the pivotal moments of military history that have shaped the world as we know it today.